Rocket Lab stock is taking off. Could go to the moon in the future. Right now, we're still trying to reach orbit. On Tuesday, Rocket Lab stock soared close to 15% at the time of making this video. We're back to just being up 13.13%. This company has a market cap of $2.42 billion. By the way, I'm here on Coifin. Link is down in the description. So market cap $2.42 billion. In the last couple of years, stock has really underperformed by quite a lot, still down 52%. Year to date, the stock is down 11%. Of course, at the end or mid-April, the stock was down closer to 40%, so we had a nice little rebound. If we look at EV to sales in the next 12 months, trades at 5.1 times. Now again, this is a company, $2.42 billion in market cap. Whereas in the private market, you have a small company called SpaceX, right? That's been valued closer to $200 billion. So if SpaceX is valued at $200 billion today, Rocket Lab being valued at less than $3 billion, I think there might be an opportunity here. Of course, I'm not comparing SpaceX to Rocket Lab directly, different types of business models. One is generating quite a lot of revenue already with Starlink, plus it launches reusable rockets, highly efficient ones each and every week, I think by now. And they're already working on the next one, the Starship one, which is going to be truly an incredible thing. But still, $200 billion, $2.4 billion. There's an opportunity here. Of course, it's a huge industry. Will be worth a lot of money by 2030, according to lots of analysts in that space. No pun intended. But right now, it's true that Rocket Lab are still in the early innings, let's say, of their own business. Now, currently, what are the analysts are expecting? Well, growing quite fast. This year, fiscal year 2024, year-over-year growth of 77%, followed by 34% in fiscal year 2025, and in fiscal year 2026, reacceleration in growth 51.86%. And that year, the analysts are also expecting to have positive EPS. Of course, right now they're investing a lot in their business. They're investing in Neutron, which should be, let's say, the equivalent of a Falcon 9. If we look at the average analyst price target right now, it sits at $7.29, representing close to 50% upside from the price we're at today. And so, what exactly has happened? Why is there now suddenly a switch in momentum with regards to Rocket Lab? There were two good announcements, plus there were some analysts that commented on a positive note as well with regards to the company. I'm a holder of Rocket Lab. Personally, I think it's a good bet to make on the company and especially on Peter Beck, even though he doesn't drink coffee. That's fine. I think for the long run, risk reward wise, at $2.4 billion, it's worth taking. Because if it is successful, then you're looking here at, well, quite a lot of upside. That's just my opinion, of course. And as you know, you don't debate opinions. Anyways, if you enjoyed this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, we really appreciate that. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment, get the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. So let's first start off with news number one. Rocket Lab signs preliminary terms for $23.9 million in proposed CHIPS Act funding. So the proposed CHIPS investment would enable the aerospace firm to increase its production of compound semiconductors for spacecraft and satellites as part of an expansion and modernization of its facility in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The expansion project is expected to boost Rocket Lab's compound semiconductor production by 50% within the next 3 years. Announcement number two, and that was the most recent one, Rocket Lab gains after record deal for 10 Electron launches with Synspective. And so it was announced that they signed the largest Electron launch agreement in the company's history, a 10 launch deal with Japanese Earth observation company Synspective. And by the way, this is an existing client. In addition to the 10 new dedicated launches signed on Monday, another 2 launches for Synspective have already been booked and are scheduled for launch this year from Launch Complex 1 in New Zealand. The launches in the new deal will take place across 2025 and 2027, and I believe Rocket Lab, not regarding this deal, Rocket Lab is about to launch, I think, their 50th mission in the coming days. And so Peter Beck here said that it's a big day for Synspective and Rocket Lab in Tokyo. Today we signed our largest launch agreement to date, a 10 launch deal to deploy Synspective's Strix constellation. We've been Synspective launch partners since we began launching for them in 2020, and we're honored to continue this partnership. A great way to celebrate the collaboration between the US, Japanese, and New Zealand space industries. By the way, by launching as the sole payload on Electron, Synspective has control over the launch schedule as well as the precise deployment parameters for each satellite, enabling them to build their constellation out on their terms and maximize the coverage they can provide to their end customer. But this is not just specifically to Synspective, this is basically what you get when you go with Rocket Lab. And this is of course a big advantage, right? Right now you have revenue coming from launch, but the majority is still space systems. In the future, you're probably going to get some other segments as well. But when you go to Rocket Lab, you can focus on what you're good at and the rest they take care of that. That's the big thing here. Of course, reusability of the rocket is of extreme importance because at the end of the day, you want to make it as profitable as possible. If another company can make it more profitable than you, then in the long run, even if it's a small difference, in the long run, you're going to lose. Right now, they're still, let's say, number 2 in that space. Again, no pun intended, because SpaceX is by far the number 1. You have other players in that field, but I do think that Rocket Lab is still quite ahead as a number 2. Still a long way to go. Next up, we have some positive commentary from some analysts. So, Roth MKM reiterated a buy rating on the stock following the development. The analyst said the multi-year, multi-launch contract with Synspective further strengthens the company's long-term pipeline visibility. We are encouraged that a long-standing Rocket Lab customer that has conducted multiple launches since 2020 with Rocket Lab and plans more this year was comfortable committing to a new 10-launch deal. This is of course very positive and sends a positive message to other customers as well. Bank of America analyst also has a buy rating on Rocket Lab. The firm noted recently that Rocket Lab presents one of the most affordable and consistent launch services available to US customers. The analyst said Rocket Lab efforts towards reusability and manufacturing satellite components will provide increased exposure to the growing small satellite market. The company is also seen as poised to benefit from greater US government work with the opening of Launch Complex 2 in Virginia. Then a quick recap of what happened last quarter. So revenue increased 69% year over year, 55% quarter over quarter revenue increase, $93 million revenue in Q1. Of course, again, the majority coming from space systems and the rest from launch. With regards to Q1 gross margin, that was roughly flat sequentially, GAAP up slightly and non-GAAP down slightly, as cadence-driven launch improvement was offset by weaker mix in their space system businesses. If we look at the backlog back in Q1, the backlog was just over $1 billion. The backlog did decrease 2.9% quarter over quarter. They expect approximately 42% of this backlog to be recognized within 12 months, with the remaining 58% to be recognized beyond those 12 months. If we look at the profitability trends, they said here 3 things. 1, improving gross profit trends on Electron and scaling satellite manufacturing revenues, helping to close the gap to adjusted EBITDA break-even. Of course, the more they launch, the better. They expect Electron gross margin to continue to improve over time due to increased scale and production efficiencies, and satellite manufacturing contributions to improve due to increased scale and leverage of growing IP capabilities and infrastructure. Attaining adjusted EBITDA break-even is dependent on the above factors as well as the pace of Neutron-related investments. Of course, if you remove Neutron right now completely, of course, the profitability profile of this company becomes better. But we don't want that to happen, right? It's short-term pains for extremely long-term gains. And so with regards to the outlook for Q2, they expect revenue to be in the range of $105 to $110 million. They expect space systems revenue to be between $77 and $81 million. With regards to GAAP and non-GAAP gross margin, GAAP gross margin to be in the range between 24 and 26%, non-GAAP between 30 and 32%. With regards to adjusted EBITDA, would come in at a loss of $23 to $25 million. And then with regards to non-GAAP operating expenses, between $62 and $64 million for the quarter. So to conclude, great news overall for Rocket Lab, for shareholders as well. Congrats to Vince. I know he's a huge bull on Rocket Lab. Maybe we will do a little recap after the next earnings report. I'll write that down and send him a DM. But overall, what you should be seeing here is, again, improvements in the business, that everything is on track, Neutron on track, etc., etc. Electron still being great, that's fine. If the stock doesn't move in the short term, that's good for you, right? You can buy more shares of a better company. And if the stock does go up, then fine, then on paper, you are making some money. Overall, everything is on track. We're all happy. So that's about it for this video. Of course, do share your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.